All right, let's get practicing in QuickBooks Online. Grab the link below in the description so that you can follow along. All right, here we are in the QBO Gym. And the QBO Gym is a place where we have numerous exercises that simulate real life scenarios that you may encounter as a bookkeeper. Every single month, we come out with new exercises for you to practice and complete, and we break it down for you into 4 different sections. Today, we're going to be working in the January cardio section. At the top here is an animated video to give you an understanding of what you are going to do for Craig this month. He is our fictitious business owner. Further down is an interactive quiz to test your knowledge as it does relate to the video up above. Below that are all of the exercises within this section. And then at the bottom here, once you have completed all of those exercises, we do have some sample posts that you can use on LinkedIn to share with everybody what you have learned so far. So let's go ahead and get started with the exercise where we're going to today practice dealing with errors in undeposited funds. Go ahead and click on that link to get the exercise up for you. I have it over here on the right-hand side, so let's see our scenario. As you continue to work on Craig's books, you notice that he has a large number of undeposited funds. How did this happen and what should you do about it? So to do this exercise, you need to be in the same session of the sample company that you did in the previous exercise. If you have not completed that one yet, go ahead and click on the link on the top right corner of your screen. That'll take you to that exercise, complete that one, and then come back to this one. So, as a reminder, undeposited funds should be a temporary placeholder for the cash and checks that have been received but not yet physically deposited at the bank. When the money is received and the invoice is marked paid, undeposited funds is selected as the deposit to account rather than using checking because it's not physically there yet. It's not physically in his bank account for Craig's bank account. So we use a holding account, which is this undeposited funds. Then the client should use a bank deposit transaction to group these funds together and indicate that they have been deposited at the bank when he takes it to the bank or does a mobile or a mobile deposit. Either way, before it physically the money gets into his account, it has to go to undeposited funds. After that, the client needs to create a bank deposit once it has gone in. So let's try it just so we can see how that looks. We're going to click on the plus new button and then click on bank deposit. So here I am in the sample company. This is the last page that I left off of from the previous exercise. That plus new button is right here. Go ahead and click on that, and then under other, click on bank deposit. Now we're going to check this checkbox right here. And you will see now that QBO groups all of these payments together into one deposit. And this is the amount that will come through the bank feed, this amount right here. So we're going to go ahead and save and close this. Go ahead and click that. And now it's showing as saved. So now let's recreate the problem, because what happens if the client correctly receives the payment on the invoice but does not create the bank deposit to remove it from undeposited funds? In the sample company, there are several bank deposit transactions that were done correctly. So to recreate the problem, we'll need to start by deleting some of those. Let's go to the bank feeds. To do that, on the left nav bar, we're going to hover over transactions and then click on bank deposit or bank transactions. Here's transactions right here. Hover over that and then select bank transactions. This also happens to be bookmarked, so you could have directly clicked on there as well. So to quickly narrow down, we need to, let's use a filter, to look at only money in transactions. So we want to, in the filter right here, click the down arrow, and then we're going to click money in. Okay. And now you will see that there are 3 bank deposits that were done correctly. So when the transaction came through the bank, they matched. We're going to go ahead and click on the first one. So just click anywhere on that line, not match, but anywhere else on that line. Now we're going to click on deposit right here so that we can get that deposit to pull up for us. And here it is. Now again, we want to delete this, so we need to click on more and then click on delete. More is down here on the bottom. Click on that one, and then we're going to select delete. You're going to get this little pop-up warning from QBO just asking if you're sure you want to do this. For the purposes of this exercise, we do, so go ahead and click on yes. And that one has been deleted. So now let's do that for the remaining 2 deposits. Okay, so these deposits right here. This one, you want to click into it and then select deposit. This one's for $408. Go ahead and click on more again and then select delete. And then yes, we want to delete this. Okay, now that one has been deleted. And you will see here, because these are the first 2 that we deleted, it's become uncategorized income. It's no longer showing as a deposit. We'll talk about that in a moment, but let's finish up this last one and delete this one as well. So click on this line, go ahead and click on deposit. When the deposit appears for $218.75, go ahead and click on more, click on delete, and then QBO is going to ask you if you want to do this. Yes, we do. And there we go. All 3 of those have now been deleted. Now, since there is no longer a deposit for these bank transactions to match, QBO is labeling them as uncategorized income, as I mentioned before. Now, the client might be tempted to categorize them as accounts receivable, but QBO won't let them because the transactions don't have a customer. And they can't add a customer because there are multiple customers in the deposit. If you saw with each one that we were opening, there were a bunch of different deposits that were being made within that one deposit transaction. So there's multiple customers in there, so you can't add a customer because of it. So what would you do instead? Well, you add them as uncategorized income. So click on the check boxes and then we're going to select accept. So for these 3 right here, go ahead and click on the checkbox next to each one. All 3 of them are selected and then go ahead and click accept. All right, so they have been accepted. So what has happened to the reports? Let's go ahead and check. We're going to click on reports directly from the left nav bar over here. It's about halfway down. And then we're going to click on profit and loss to run the profit and loss report. So go ahead and click on that. And now we can see that we have a balance for uncategorized income. Mine is showing as year to date. So let's go ahead and change this really quickly to all dates. And when you do that and then click run report, there we go. Now we are seeing everything. And what am I looking for? Uncategorized income. So that is, did I miss it? Hold on. There it is. Yes, I did. I went right by it. Down here, this uncategorized income is showing on there. Now let's go back to the report list and run a balance sheet. So let's go back up to the top here, back to report list. And then we're going to go ahead and click on balance sheet. And when we do right here, we can see we have a balance for undeposited funds right there. There it is right there. So we can fix that part of the problem, by using the reclassify tool, the same tool that we used in the previous exercise. So to get there, we want to click on Accountant Tools and then select Reclassify Transactions. That is right here. Click on that, and then Reclassify Transactions is right there. We need to change the ending date to show today. So go ahead and click on the little calendar and select today. Your day is going to be different than what I am doing right here, and that's okay. Just make sure that you are selecting today's date. And then we're going to go ahead and click on Find Transactions. Let's go ahead and click on, which one are we doing? Uncategorized income. So let's scroll down here until we find uncategorized income. There it is right there. Go ahead and click on that so that you are only seeing those 3 deposits. I'm going to collapse this here just so it's easier for you to see all 3 of them as we're working through them. So we're going to click on the checkbox at the top to select all of them and then click on reclassify. So click that top checkbox right there to select all. Click on reclassify. Now remember, this money came from customer payments. They paid their invoice with cash or check and then Craig deposited it. So what would be a good category to use here? A good choice is sales of product income. So let's go ahead and change the account to that. Click on the down arrow. You can scroll down just a tiny bit until you get to the income account that says sales of product income. Go ahead and click on that and then select apply. And now those have all been changed. So we have now resolved the problem of uncategorized income. So let's take a look at how we know. We're going to go back to the reporting center by clicking on reports and then clicking on profit and loss. So click on that reports right here and then select profit and loss. And we are going to have to change this once again. I need to. You may not need to. Just as a note here, the dates in the sample company are always changing. And so because I am doing this at the very beginning of the month, recording this video at the very beginning of the month, it's not showing all the transactions from last year, from the last month that the sample company has created, the ones that we are working through. So that's why I am selecting all dates right here. You may need to do the exact same thing. If so, just go ahead and make that selection and then run the report again. Or yours may, depending on when you are doing this exercise, it may already show up for you. All right, so let's see here. Here's sales of product income. So the profit and loss no longer shows an uncategorized income account, but is the sales of product income account correct? Products and services on the original invoice were already coded of sales of product income. Now you have added the deposits to this account as well. Plus, although you have solved the problem of uncategorized income, you have not solved the problem of undeposited funds. You could check this by running a balance sheet, but we can easily do this. We can also easy to do. It's also easy to do, excuse me, by creating a bank deposit transaction. So let's go ahead and do that. Again, we're going to click on that plus new button and then click on bank deposit. Plus new is up here, and then on the other, we're going to select, we're going to select bank deposits. Now here you can see all of the payments that were coded to undeposited funds, but never marked as deposited. The correct way to fix this would be to determine which deposit each payment was included in and match it to the bank feed. But sometimes the list of undeposited funds is so large that it makes it unreasonable to do so. So instead, you can quickly remove them by creating a $0 deposit. So that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to click on the checkbox to select all of the payments. So click on that top one right there. And when you do, all of them will be selected. Now, as mentioned previously, the original invoices were coded to sales of product income and the deposits were coded to sales of product income, resulting in overstated income. So to correct that, we're going to remove the total of these payments from the account. So we need to scroll down to the add funds to this deposit section, and then in the account field, select sales of product income. So down here, if you scroll, here is that section that we were just talking about. We're going to click on account right here. You can click into it 2 times and just scroll a tiny bit to get to sales of product income. Go ahead and select that. And then in the amount field, we're going to enter the total of the payments as a negative number. So for here, it's $1694.90. So go ahead in that box, type negative or minus 1694.90. If you click out of that, you will see now the total has been updated to reflect this zeroing out. So now it is showing as a $0 transaction. And now we're simply just going to click on Save and Close. That is the green button right here. Go ahead and click on that. And now our product and our profit and loss shows a reduction in the sales of product income. Once again, I'm going to change this to all dates so that you can see what that looks like. That sales of product income is showing a reduction. So now let's go ahead and check on the balance sheet. Let's go back to the report list and then click on balance sheets. So click on back to report list, click on balance sheets, And then you will notice here that we no longer have a balance of undeposited funds. Here it is right there. It is showing as 0. And so there you go. You have fixed now the problem of having the errors with undeposited funds. And if you have any questions or want to know more about the QBO Gym, just go ahead and click on the link below in the description. Be sure to leave this session of the sample company open, as you will need it for the next exercise in the cardio section, where we deal with accounts payable errors. And I will see you